Hey, welcome back to another, at least mediocre episode of Random American. Uh, I have my parts cleaned. I have spent probably 9 hours today cleaning everything up, and we're going to get stuff put on this engine and get it looking like an engine again. So stick around. Okay, so today like I said, I have everything cleaned up. I cleaned up my heads, everything for the oil pan, best I can. I mean, it's kind of iffy. Ran out of battery a couple of times trying to clean some stuff up, but I just wanted to get the major grime off of it and come to the realization that these aluminum parts, they're never going to be pretty. So I got them cleaned up as good as I could. All my machine surfaces are pretty well clean, ready for gaskets. I got my front and rear seal pulled out of it, and we are ready to start putting valve train into it. In this fancy little drawer here, I have all my rockers and lifters and push rods and all that pretty well set how I left them way too long ago. So what I'm going to do, it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to get each of my rockers. I'm just going to wipe them off real quick because I'm not going to do a whole lot to clean these. I'm going to put a little bit of Pro Lube on them because these are original. Everything else inside of there is original as far as what all these are going to be touching. So I'm going to make sure there's no dirt inside of here. I'm going to get them lubed up. I'm going to get them shoved in. And we'll go through that little process there one by one. And we'll maybe see about setting some heads and all that on. It's going to be a good time. So the process with this is pretty simple. I have a lint-free rag here. They call them lint-free, but if you're too rough on them, they'll lint on you anyway. So I got a lint-free cloth, and I'm just going to wipe this off best I can. Not getting too worried about it. Look in here, make sure there's nothing where my push rod is going to sit. And all I'm going to do, just a little dribble there, a little dribble there. Work this all around because they say this stuff is miracle stuff, so we're gonna see. We gonna find out. A little bit inside of there, not sure if it's gonna do me any good. Not even sure where it'll come out. That's just up here at the top. And I'm going to give it a little bit on these needle bearings. Because on these LS's, I really should replace these, but I'm not going to. Your lifters will wear out. As you can see, I got a little bit of wear, some shiny spots on both sides of it from where it's run for a while. But also these needle bearings inside of here will wear out. And you just want to make sure you get those nice and lubed up. If this is a hyper lube like they say, it should work really, really well. So whenever you get this set down on your cam, that's obviously going to roll. And then you have these little keepers that go over top of them, or kind of like guides. And you have two flat spots right here that keeps this thing lined up because it's not like a hydraulic lifter where it wants to turn. So all you're trying to do is make sure it stays right where it needs to keep a solid travel. So realistically, I should put my plate on the front. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so quickly explain this. This is basically what sets the lash in your cam. This plate goes in, and then your gear goes on your cam, and your cam can only come out so far because it'll hit here, and this can only go in so far, vice versa. So this will keep your cam from moving back and forth on you, kind of like a thrust plate. Maybe that's what it's called. I can't remember. And you have timing marks on your gear and on your crankshaft, and it's just marked by a little bitty dot, and that'll bring your number 1 to TDC, and then you set your cam accordingly. Pretty simple stuff, and you'll know that you were right because whenever you go to put your lifters in, whenever this one's on TDC, your lifters should be all the way down. That'd be compression stroke. basically. At least that's how I understand it. If I'm wrong, we're going to find out the hard way. So let me go ahead and do that real quick, and we'll go back to setting these in. All right, so I'm going to probably do this the wrong way, but I got some Loctite. And I'm going to Loctite this stuff on here because I'm a coward and I don't want these coming back off. There they are. And one of these, I promised myself I was going to change these. I'm not. This one got tore up a little bit coming out, but get these cleaned off because Loctite does not like sticking to oil, as most things don't. All right. And this is just blue Loctite, so there's a chance that it'll come back out if I need it to. It won't, but I can tell myself that there's a chance. Huh, that one. Uh-oh. Okay, so we're going to set the gear on. Line up your, it looks like your extra hole with that dowel. And get this started in here. Line up your dot on your gear on your crank. Oh, I messed up. But you have to line up these two marks on it. Always do the chain first. Always, always, always do the chain first. So I'm going to go ahead and get my other two bolts lightly Loctited. And just get them in there by hand. There we go. That's pulling that cam forward right where it needs to be. There's no second guessing, no fuss, no muss. It's just set exactly how it needs to be, and away you go. Now this chain, I am going to oil it before we get the front cover on. Oh, I forgot to clean this up. I'll do that before we get too far into that. I'll just take my die grinder, my massive die grinder, and get that set right. Now, where's my 10 mil? Get those snugged up pretty good. Not trying to break them, but not trying to have them loose either. Probably over torqued. Alrighty. Let me go ahead and spin this, see how this does. Okay, we're doing good. And we'll continue on with the lifters. So with these lifters, I'm not going crazy. Just simple clean and oil. Alrighty, we have those installed. And now we're going to be putting in these. They're little trays, guides, whatever you want to call them. If I'm not mistaken, they only go in one way. I'm pretty sure it's this way. If not, I'll tell you here in just a second. I mean, that seems to work pretty good. Yeah, it has to go in this way because it has a little notch moved right there, and that's for your one of your smaller head bolts. And you just put this right there, and you tighten it up. These don't have to be crazy tight, because no matter what, your head will hold that bastard in there. There's no doubts about that. So, have that in there. I'll go ahead and do the same thing with this side. I'll put the other one in right there, and we'll be back in just. So if you guessed the next step was to put on the oil pump, then congratulations, you won the What Am I Doing Next bingo. Not a real game, no real prizes, but I didn't even know I was doing this. So I figured it made sense to go ahead and put my oil pump on. I have a Mellings. Actually, this is something I did spend a little bit of money on. I have a Mellings pump. It is a high volume standard pressure pump. I didn't go for the high pressure. Everybody said that a high mileage engine like this, just go for the high volume, make up for all the extra tolerances. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and add some of this in here so we don't have a completely dry pump. Because a dry pump is a pump that you kill. If nobody knew that. Now you do. Just going to make sure I have at least some in here on everything. Because I'm not doing anything crazy to make sure that this thing is primed whenever I do a first startup. It's just going to get exactly what it gets, and that's going to be the end of it. So this here first oil is all that's going to get. Alrighty, get this lined up as best you can. Alrighty, there's that. I'm leaking oil out of here. But, you know, it just is what it is. I have my bolts right over here. I'm assuming there's no gasket. I really wish I would have just taken this thing apart not long ago, because I'd remember all this stuff. But it's been months and I haven't gone back through my old video. If I even have video of this at all. So there's my oil pump on. I'm going to go ahead and knock this bolt off. So now I need the gasket for here, and I need my front seal. Let's go and get those. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can't just shove this here front seal on. Just so we're clear, there's easier ways to do this. There's also correct ways to do this. This is neither. And if you're going to do it the wrong way, this is definitely a way to do it. And you can see I'm working my way around. I'm just shoving. I'm not doing anything else. Just a little bit of pressure. Then this is your front cover seal. Front cover gasket, I mean. And that just fits right on there, good as gold. I have bolts that fit. I don't know if they are the right bolts, but they're the bolts that it's getting. Makes them pretty right to me. Alright, round 35. Oh, man. So what I am going to do is I'm going to flip this upside down and make sure that this lines up with my oil pan the way I want it to. Okay, so this is on and lined up as best I can tell. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that particular system. It'd be nice if it had alignment dowels, but you know, I'm no math magician engineer. So I'm going to get this cleaned up real quick. And then get this shoved on here. Probably not going to get real serious with it, just enough to engage my seal a little bit, keep it from shrinking on me. So be back in a second for that. Alright, so I got this cleaned up. I just hit it with the wire wheel off my die grinder. Ooh, I'm going to clean the inside of this a little bit more. It still looks a bit nasty. And this thing is rough. Don't worry though, I'll spray paint it when we're done. I'm going to have to... So I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I'm going to go ahead and oil this. Use the old wearable napkins. Well, my harmonic balancer installer kit ain't going to work. So, I'm just going to see if I can put this on the wrong way. Okay, and we're back. My installer tool ain't going to work. It's not right. So I'm going to do it the wrong way.
A few moments later.
Well, that took a lot longer than it should have. I got this on. I probably beat my thrust bearing clean to death, and I finally got to where I could get the bolt and run it in. I'm going to have to take the bolt back out. I'm going to have to clean all them threads out, and I'm probably just going to anti-seize that. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't made my mind up yet. And then actually torque it. Not going to do that right now. What I am going to do next, though, is start putting the oil pan on. Way louder than it needed to be. So get this in here, and my bolt or my nuts are they're all in there somewhere. Can't run this one in yet because I think it has to hold my suction. Where did it go? She ain't going anywhere. Alrighty. So now I need to get my oil pan, which I've badly cleaned, and put the piece that goes in it in there, and then get my oil pan set on. Because I mean, I think we're there. Okay, so oil pan's ready to go on. I have my shit together. No, I don't. So got some silicone that I dug up out of here that I don't know the last time I used it. Poked a hole in the top, and we're gonna silicone these here corners. And by siliconing the corners, what I mean, and everybody else is talking about if you don't already know, is right where your front cover and your rear cover meet the main part of your block. You have a little bit of a seam right there that the gasket seals up. They don't ever seal up, not right. So you put just a dab across there, and you are good to go. Get my crappy oil pan set on. Boy, will I be mad if I can't use this oil pan. So finally, the moment that at least one of you has been waiting for. That one is me, at the minimum. We're setting the heads on. Boy, this is weird. So one thing I will say, normally, this thing has its alignment dowels. Well, these ones are shoved in there, and I am not unshoving them. So I'm going to use this corner to line it up. Okay. And then another one at the other corner. Line it up. I'm not lining up the alignment dowels, they'll be fine. Famous last words. I know these have sealant on them, but they're getting oil. Okay, so I'm going to run these down just enough to where they touch, and then I'm going to put the rest. Oh, I got some dirt in there. Then I'm going to put the rest of them in here. Clean that out. And then I'll just lightly snug them by hand, and then we'll go in and we'll torque them. I'm going to have to get a refresher on what the torque spec is, but we'll do that in just a minute. So we're going to go through the torque sequence now. All of the bolts have an initial torque of 22 foot-pounds, and you go in a real simple pattern. You start in the center and you work your way out pretty much in an X all the way around. So I'll come here to the center one. I already got this set to 22 foot-pounds. There's 22. Then I go to the center outside one, and then come diagonally across. You don't have to get extremely nitpicky over this, because torque sequences are, as long as you're working from the inside out, I don't see a problem with it. I'm going to come over to this one. Come down to here. Alright. And then come up to here. Okay. And then your smaller bolts, you just work from the inside out. I'm telling you right now, these ones right here are not detrimental to you losing compression in your cylinder. So, you know, these aren't quite as important. These are more for oil leaks and a little bit of rigidity. I'm still going to go from the inside out because I'm trying to set a good example for you guys. Kinda. Okay, now we'll do the exact same pattern for the bigger bolts, just on an angle. The first run, because you have to do it twice, the first one is 90 degrees, the second time is 70 degrees. And I've heard 50, I've heard 90, I've heard 70, so I'm just going to split it in the middle and we're going to do 70. Get back to this. And this turd, oh yeah, it's full of oil now, you can't see nothing. Perfect. Oh, my paint marker. Not trying to do the same thing I did on the crankshaft again. Please work the way you're supposed to. Why am I using my damn torque wrench for this? Damn it. This thing is not working like it's supposed to. Alright. Use regular ratchet. I'll come over here to 270 and we'll bring her around to 90. But with this, same rules apply as your main bolts do. So try and do it all in one fell swoop. There we go. And make sure you're doing your pattern correctly. Because these are more pattern dependent than anything else we've torqued so far. There's 90. There's 90. Okay. Last one on this torque sequence. And now we're going to go through and do the 70 degrees. Alrighty, well that is all of it torqued up on this head. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one, and then I will meet back up with you when we're putting the valley cover on and putting the rest of the valve train in. And we're getting pretty damn close to calling her a day and having everything buttoned up as far as I'm going to take it tonight. And yeah, I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, exciting stuff. The heads are on, they are completely torqued. Now we're going to go ahead and put the valve train on. We'll put the valley cover on. I don't think we're going to put the intake on today. I might put the intake on. We'll see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put it on. Hell with it, as long as I got the bolts. But anyway, rambling. Let me go ahead and put the push rods in. They're as simple as it gets. If you've never dealt with a push rod V8 before, this one, I don't think one side's any different from the other. These things are kind of grimy, but I'm not going to take the time to clean them. There we go. Make sure there's no dirt in the ends. You just go ahead and slide them guys right on down in there. And you don't have to worry too much about these getting off track, because those trays that you put in, your lifter guides, they guide these directly in where they need to be. I didn't even check that. Oh, we're good. And you notice I'm shoving the lifters down whenever I shove these in here. There we go. Since I got my grimy little fingers all over the top of them, go ahead and wipe these off real quick. They're all different heights because the cam is in different spots. Nothing at all to worry about, I promise. And then you have your entire rocker arm assembly. Check that for dirt. It's all good. Just set this on here and get these started hand tight. Nothing horrible, nothing horrifying. Man, it's starting to look like an engine again. I guess to me this is super exciting stuff. Alright, so I got an 8mm. It's even 6 points. Just going down until these touch. One thing you need to make sure of is that your push rods are in the back side of your rocker. Seems like all these lined up by themselves. Now I'm going to go through here with my ratchet. I'm going to tighten these down by hand because I want to be nice to these. I don't want to go too hard, too fast, anything like that. I was going to do my valve seals, but it's tired and I'm late, and I don't want to do that. And these do have a torque spec, and it is 22 foot-pounds. Just like everything else up on your top end. That one's good. That one's good. Now I'm going to rotate the engine a little bit. Now ones that were down are now up. and vice versa. So got the valve train in. I'll go ahead and put a valve cover on. So I'll have this completed and I can go ahead and do it to the other side, and then I'll go ahead and put my valley cover on while I got you here. And getting close. Okay. And that just sits right on top of there. And you somehow get these lined up because it's like magic. And these are torqued to like 106 inch-pounds or something. I'm going to do German torque spec and good and tight. But not too good and tight. Just enough. Okie dokie, so I have new seals for this. Not sure how good they are, but man, we're gonna hope. And in all reality, if they're too bad, I know I'm just gonna pull them and silicone them. Go ahead and set this on there. I think I did. Okay, so heads are on, valve train on this side is in, the cover's on. I'm going to go ahead and put the valve train in on that side, and I'll join you right back in a second whenever we're setting the intake on. And I think that'll pretty well wrap it up for the night. I have some work I have to do the fuel rails, so can't get to those right now, so this thing will have to go on the back burner, or this particular piece will have to go on the back burner for just a little bit. Nothing crazy, so yeah, see you in a second. Well, last, I guess, for the night. So, got the intake. Man, it looks like ass. But, I'm going to go ahead and set her on anyways, because I said that's what we're doing. I might have to take it off again, but I don't really care. So, here's your gaskets. They're pretty simple. They actually clip on, which GM, man, that was pretty nice. You know, GM, that's what I really appreciate about you. And yeah, that's what I appreciate. I thought about getting rid of, I guess the other one already fell off. Well, now where did it go? I had another cover right here. It kept crap from getting in there. I guess I'll take this one off. If I find it and want to put it back on, I'll do that. So this is pretty straightforward. Most of my bolts are still in here. Just set her straight down. Not 100% sure what these torque to, so I'm going to go and torque them to electric ratchet. By the way, guys, I'm not saying you have to get a snap-on one, because I just got this one because it was a damn good deal, but an electric ratchet's a really nice thing to have. Never knew that until recently. I can get to a couple of these. Okay, so I'm going to torque this like I would a head. And I'm going to work inside, across, and out because this is plastic. I've never dealt with one of these before, and I really don't want to screw it up. Okay, I'm going to go to a regular ratchet because I do not fully have the power down on that thing. like a peasant now. Look at this. If anybody knows where I can get this fuel rail crossover line, please let me know, because this one is so rusted that it has a hole in it. So I really need to find one. If not, I'm going to have to buy an entire rail and the crossover, and I just don't want to do that. So that makes a complete engine, mostly. Complete enough. It's so awesome seeing this thing back together again. A lot of projects I start and don't finish, and making videos for you guys is as much making them for me also, because it forces me to get out here and get this done and not BS around on it. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for the night. I appreciate the hell out of you guys if you've made it this far. Next time, I'm not sure what I'm not sure what I'm going to do next on this. I need to go and get the truck over to the farm, get some stuff emptied out of it, and we can maybe start working on that. I might not put that as the same series as this, but it's all wrapped up into one. This is just great. So if you like what you see here, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you don't like what you see, tell me what you don't like, and even if you don't watch anymore, I might be able to do something to make the channel a little bit better and make some other people want to watch a little bit more, because the more, it sounds really self-centered, but the more subscribers and likes and all that I get, really kind of pushes you forward, you know. And I encourage anybody to make YouTube, man. I mean, there's no downside to it, other than you work a little bit later and you work a little bit longer. But it's fantastic. You guys are great, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. See you on the next one.